Despite its mediocrity, Frozen 1 was a giant hit, especially when it comes to merchandising. This thing had so much merchandising, it was everywhere. You could not escape any of the merchandise for this film. It was merchandise up the ass. If there was a product, it definitely had a snowflake on it that would just say Frozen. Even the most bare basic thing, it would have Frozen on it. It was like Disney's version of the Minions, except Minions are way worse. Fuck Minions, they suck. So it's not very surprising that in 2019 Disney released its long-awaited sequel, Frozen 2. And it was released with mixed reception, but it made a crap ton of money. In order to make this movie, the filmmakers had to take a 4-hour personality test. I'm not making that up. Apparently they did that. Did it work? Not really. Frozen 2 is a giant mess. However, it's a mess that I kind of like. Unlike the original Frozen, there is no glaring issues with the film. In fact, the film looks amazing. The water effects in this movie are phenomenal. Like, oh my god, look how gorgeous that is. Honestly, the thing I like most about this film is not really the substance of the film, but the eye candy of the movie, which is the sexual things, like, you know. The fact it looks visually appealing, the fact that it sounds amazing. Of course, it's the musical in the previous one, why wouldn't it be? And the songs are way better in this movie than they were in the first movie, let's just say that. This film only has one bad song. Compared to the originals, half the songs being good and half the songs being bad. It's better to have one song that sucks. In case you're wondering, is a song sung by the Dumbass Snowman. I'll talk more about the songs at the end of my video, so I can do the rest of Disney movies, alright? And get on the program. So what doesn't work about this film? Well, it feels like they throw a lot of ideas at the wall and try to see what sticks, and none of them really do. It's very unfocused, but it's kind of harmless. It's kind of like a candy movie. Here's some interesting ideas and concepts, but we're not really going to develop them because we have no time. Here's a really good song that doesn't really tie into anything, but it sounds good. It does, but it doesn't really matter to the rest of the film. But nothing really pisses me off. It feels more like missed opportunities that I guess can be delved in with a future sequel, because this thing's getting 2 more sequels, so get ready for more Frozen. The only thing that was way worse than this film was Olaf, but he's actually not in that much. Well, he kind of is. He sucks. I hate him. He was okay at best in the original movie, but here he says nothing funny, just incredibly annoying. This one song is terrible. I don't like the snowman, and neither does my fiance. She actually hates this guy more than I do, which says a lot. The other characters, minus one, are also just fine. This movie realizes that the most popular character is Elsa, so she gets a lot more screen time in this movie than she did in the previous one, which is fine by me, so I like her character better than Elsa. At the same time, the other characters kind of gets stepped aside. The character of Kristoff really gets sidelined, despite the fact that I actually think I like him more in this movie, but his whole goal is how he wanted to propose to Anna, but the relationship sucks. They barely connect in this film, let alone the last movie, and yeah, I don't really see why he wants to be with her. You do a lot better than her, Kristoff. Anna's a pretty bad character in this movie due to the fact that I think she got bipolar disorder in between films. Like, her personality fluctuates incredibly weirdly, like it was a weird cut that happened in deleted scenes that I missed.
I'm sorry, it's just...
And she's really obsessed with Elsa, even though she has incredible ice powers that basically mean nothing. She has like she's gonna die in a second. Like, she never died anywhere before. Why'd she so nervous about her? Like, she's obsessed with her sister to an insane degree in this movie that she pretty much ignores literally everybody and just gets mad at like every weird thing that happens. Kristoff's like, hey, I like you. Like me? I thought you loved me! That's how she acts the whole film. It's really jarring. And then she's supposed to have the powered ballad here at the end, which is a nice song, but doesn't work because the rest of the character is incredibly inconsistent. Apparently her goal is to become queen. I didn't know that, apparently.
You are the fifth. You are the bridge.
Because Elsa is a fifth element, apparently.
And Mother
I bet you didn't know that. That's a weird... This ending's terrible. Oh yeah, there's a story. There's a weird element thing that's going on. It's not really well established. It turns out that Elsa's a fifth element. She hears the voice of something. It's her mom, by the way. The film tries to redeem the parents of the previous movie, but it still doesn't work, though. Just because they did one thing doesn't mean they weren't terrible parents. There's a war between two factions. There were King of Arendelle and some other people, I forget their name, and they're like, and the king's gonna betray them, but we don't see the king ever. He just only in flashbacks for a little bit. Not like the king for the first movie, but his dad. So they got him right a wrong of the past, I guess, but it's not really well established, and there's one easy fix to make this plot actually work. Like, there's this battle going on, and the people in the battle got frozen in time with the grandfather character, but that character never appears, and them being brought back into the future doesn't really mean anything. They just tell you what they could have told us without them being in the past. This could have been interesting. They actually brought back this king character. Here's what he looks like. There's not a lot of footage of this guy. He's the villain, but we don't see him. He's dead before the movie even starts. This guy should have been with the other characters who came back from that time freeze into the future. They would have made sense. He could have manipulated the other characters. Like, he is their grandfather after all. He's the villain. He could use, like, he could be your redemptive villain if you want to do that. Maybe he learns that all magical powers aren't bad because he's afraid of magic and stuff like that. And his granddaughter has magic, and he has to learn to deal with that. And then redeem his, like, kid, like, oh, they're dead and all the other things. Maybe that happens, or he becomes even more evil and tries to do that stuff. There's a lot of things they could have done with this, but this movie just decided that we're not going to have a villain. Or our villain's just going to be way in the past, so it doesn't really matter. So instead, the movie is about breaking a dam, I guess, to destroy Arendelle, which I guess it was there for. I don't really know. I've seen this movie multiple times and I don't really get it. I don't think any kid will get it either. So I think that's what's going to happen, but then Elsa's like, no, our town's not going to get flooded. You know, no the city is going to put ice break, so we can have the bargaining of the castle, I guess. Yeah, this stuff doesn't really work. It seems like the filmmakers really wanted to do something that was a lot darker here, but Disney ended up cutting it out because that would ruin their merchandising sales as they kill off two characters in the middle of the movie, or the middle of the end of the movie. And they really treat you like all these characters are dead, but then they immediately come back to life. It's a shame too, because one of those characters was Olaf, and I would have loved to see him dead. Another thing this film doesn't do that well is the other elements are kind of hit or miss. One of them is just the wind, and that's it. One is just a salamander that breathes fire. Well, that gets to be kind of cute. He's in the movie for like 5 seconds. He doesn't do anything. He just sets things on fire, and he's like, oh, just a little salamander. And that's it. Okay. There are these rock giants, which are not really antagonists, but kind of are, that are supposed to represent the Earth, I guess, but they don't really get along until the very end. Who knows? This film feels kind of like they had no idea what they were doing, were they? The last one is the most genius. It's the water element, which is a water horse. So quite literally, Elsa has a steed that you can have ice powers with. They were so genius in making this because they knew they were going to sell so much merchandise to all those horse girls out there. That was a smart move. Plus, it's a pretty cool effect. I like horses, and water horse is pretty cool. Even though, like I said, it doesn't do anything, or the fact that Elsa rides it. So, with all that said, it makes me feel like I don't really like this movie, but I do. It's just a fun thing where you think about it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but like I said, it's an eye candy movie. It's a film that looks good and sounds good. It's brain dead, I guess, brain rot, not really. But it doesn't have a whole lot going on in its core, and I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that this film really needed a lot of rewrites. It feels like a first draft, if anything. There are plenty of good ideas in this film, and it looks great, and it sounds great. Just the execution is pretty off. Too much is going on, and some things are way too complicated, some things are way too simplified, and nothing really gels well. It's still better than the original Frozen, which had so many plot holes and terrible characterizations. And plus, the stupid-ass rock trolls, yeah, they're only in the screen for like 10 seconds. We only see the Elder, really, and the rest of them don't have a single line. And that is so great, because I hate these things. I'm so glad they gave them the boot. Fuck these guys. As I mentioned earlier, that some characters die. Well, one of them is Elsa. Not really. She just freezes up. I do not know why. I don't get it. Why is this happening to her? I don't get it. And she comes back and looks alive like a little later. But why does this happen? Someone explain it to me. I don't get it.
Come on, buddy.
Yeah, that's about it with Frozen 2. Let's go on to the rankings. You already know it's going to be a shit ton of money. Enough for them to make 2 more sequels from it. But at least this one was decent. That would have had a lot of problems. Like, great animation and good music and see the film, though, that's clear. So we're going straight into the rankings, mostly because I already talked about the extended media of Frozen in my previous video, and nothing's changed since then. So we'll talk about what I put onto the tier list here. So Frozen 2, I put into the C tier, which is 7 out of 10. It would have been a 6 out of 10, but that music animation, it brings up just one bit. And I know it might be a little controversial to have it like higher than some other films, but that's how I feel about it. It's not that great of a film, but it's a film that really gets by on 2 elements, and it does the 2 elements really well, enough for it to be in the C tier. Seeing as Frozen 2 seems to not want to have a villain, I'm not going to rank the old grandfather king or the rock troll giants because they're really not worth mentioning because there's really nothing to say about them, let alone even rank them, which is not even villainous enough, but whatever. So we get into the songs. We have one F tier song, which is a shame. When I Am Older is a terrible song, and I will skip the part if I ever see this movie again because it's bad. You know this song, one thing you don't want in a song is a character screaming at you, not a metal scream, just going ah! During one whole segment of the song. It's stupid. Olaf's supposed to be growing or something. It's dumb. I hate that character. He sucks. Then yeah. Then we go to the E tier. We got the next song, Into the Unknown, credits version by Panic at the Disco. I think Panic at the Disco sucks, even when they had a full members. Now they have no members for one asshole, and he can't sing. He tries to. He tries to hit the same notes that Idina Menzel does, but he fails miserably. He's straining his voice. It sounds awful. It's not the worst in the world, but it's like, why would you get a guy who can't even sing to do it? It's such a hard song to sing. And another credit song is in D tier, which is Lost in the Woods, which is by Weezer. Some people like Weezer. I only know one song. This song coverage is really bland and boring. They put like zero life into it. At some point, I feel like they're about to add something to it, and then it goes nowhere. Terrible cover. And yeah, not much to say there. We have to go way, way up in order to get to the next song, which is in B tier, The Next Right Thing, which is a song I liked a lot more when I originally saw the film. But in context of the rest of the film, it just doesn't mean a whole lot. It would have been a lot more powerful if Anna's character was more consistent in the fact that either Elsa and Elsa and Olaf didn't actually die. One of them died off, even though I don't think Elsa should die. But they should have killed Olaf. Like, get rid of that dumbass snowman. But yeah, it just doesn't work. And for me, in that regard, it's pretty slow, which I get why. It's just not a good song on repeat listenings. But it's performed well. A lot of songs are in A tier, so let's go into them. All Is Found is just the opening number, and compared to the last opening numbers from the previous Frozen films, which sucked, this one is incredibly good. It's very atmospheric and feels kind of mysterious, which fits in the theme of the film, so I like that. The next song is Some Things Never Change, which would have been higher, but there's one line at the beginning called Peter Pumpkin Became Fertilizer. I don't know why that bothers me, but it does. The rest of the song I really like, other than Olaf singing in it, but the rest of it is pretty good. It's an anthology, all the characters sing, and of course, the things are actually going to change. Haha, ironic. It's a little corny, but I don't know, that Peter Pumpkin line, like, why is a random pumpkin called Peter, and why is he fertilizer when it looks like the pumpkin's perfectly healthy? It doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Lost in the Woods is a song that should have been hit way harder than it does. They finally realized that, we need to give Kristoff a song because we hired a Broadway singer to play him in the first movie, so here we go. It's kind of a weird rock ballad, and it's funny, but like I said, in the rest of the context of the movie, it doesn't work because Kristoff and Anna's relationship is barely focused on other than him trying to propose to her like an idiot and failing miserably, and her just brushing him off and act like a bitch to him for no reason and misreading every word he says for some reason. I don't get why. Is it comedic? It's not funny. It's stupid. It makes you wonder why the characters are acting like that and why they're even in a relationship that they don't seem to like each other. Oh well. Other than that, the song's good. Oh wow, we got S tier songs. Holy crap, we got S tier songs. We got 2 S tier songs. And well, unsurprisingly, it's Into the Unknown and Show Yourself. Way better than Let It Go, which I did put in A tier, but these songs, Into the Unknown is actually does a lot of plot lifting, so does Show Yourself. Both of them are just Elsa's entire power ballads. They gave her 2 in this movie rather than the last movie, which only had 1, and her singing a bit in 2 other songs. But this one, they're like, fuck it. We know Idina Menzel is saying, let's give her 2 whole songs showcasing that, and they are both amazing just for that, and the animation of them are pretty cool. Into the Unknown is great, but Show Yourself is fantastic, because I didn't expect to see that. I thought, she's only going to get 1 song. Near the end, all of a sudden, she gets this giant power ballad, and it's amazing. I love it. It's so great. I love it. And I don't know how to describe it. Just listen to it for yourself and see what I mean. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Frozen 2. The eye candy, or just candy movie. Eye candy doesn't sound right. It kind of is. It's candy for your eyes, but people use that as a sexual thing, but whatever. A film that really doesn't have any right to exist, but it did give me more stuff than I thought I would out of it, especially from Frozen 1, which I didn't think was that great a film. If you want a better Disney princess series about a princess with magical powers, watch Tangled and Tangled the series. Or Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure. They can't make up their mind what this show is called. They are way better than Frozen in every aspect. Even the show has some pretty good songs. That's a good franchise. But yeah, Frozen 2, it's alright, but I'm not going to be jumping in my seat to see Frozen 3 right away. Anyway, let's get on to the next film, which is Raya and the Last Dragon, a film that I completely forgot about until making this video. So I guess I'll see you then.